Hello everyone, I'm your host Kalila Reynolds and welcome to Your Business Matters, brought to you by EXIM Bank. It's a debate geared towards bringing thought leaders together with thought-provoking ideas and methods on business matters to help you grow your business. So here's today's debate topic. Should someone's social media presence affect whether they are hired or whether they are disciplined? And at the end, it will be up to you, the viewers, to leave a comment telling us who you think won the debate. Now, let's meet our debaters. Let's get ready to rumble! In this corner, we have Team Affirmative. He is a director at the Human Resource Management Association of Jamaica, HRMAJ. He's also General Manager of Corporate Services at EXIM Bank. His name is Colin Ebanks. And in this corner, we have the CEO of T-Tech, Mr. Christopher Record. He is Team Negative. So let's get this party started. And we're going to start with you, Colin.
Hi, Kalila. Hi, Christopher.
What's going on?
Okay, first and foremost, I think every business owner out there can appreciate that recruiting is expensive and you want to ensure that you get the best candidate for your position as quickly as possible. Now, a part of recruiting is qualifications, and that's standard, but you also, probably more importantly these days, want to ensure the right fit. Social media can give you insights into a candidate that the candidate may not readily bring up in an interview setting, or it may not be readily apparent through their work history. Seeing the other side of the candidate can help you to appreciate fully who they are and what they can bring. A lot of people think that looking at social media, you'll be discriminating and you'll be affected by your own biases. Maybe, but it can also be a positive thing, by allowing you to see what the candidate has not shown you and see how they can contribute in other ways to the overall team, because we don't work alone. So in my book, you definitely have to factor in social media and the presence that the candidate has when you're thinking of recruiting.
Interesting. So Colin, should social media affect whether you hire and or discipline an employee?
Kalila, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much for this interesting topic, because I thought long and hard of it, about it. And
I see you came very prepared.
Extremely prepared. Book. A whole sheet of paper with two sentences. I'm taking the side of no because of several reasons, my own personal experiences. But let me just start out with something that is globally a concern for many of the large nations on this planet right now, this whole idea and concept of deepfakes. There was a reasonably convincing video that was on social media, many different channels, TikTok the most popular one, a few months ago with Tom Cruise singing and guitar and talking about how he does his stunts and all that kind of stuff. It got millions of views. People were over the moon with what was going on. They got a little insight into the life of Tom Cruise. But guess what? It wasn't him. It was AI and machine learning technology that was used to manipulate an impersonator, and then they superimposed the real face on because of the gentleman by the name of Chrisumi in Belgium, a graphic artist who decided to just take on this little project to just have this experiment, and it was mind-blowing how ultra-realistic that this thing is. So what's been going on for the last 4 to 5 years is that other players have been out there using technologies like this to be able to, it can manipulate what Kalila says. Imagine if Kalila goes out there and makes a stock recommendation, which, we're not brokers, you're not a broker, and make a recommendation, and people say, well, it's Kalila says so. Well, somebody with the ultra-realistic likeness of Kalila said so, but it wasn't her. So we have to be excruciatingly careful when using any sort of technology to make any sort of decision around a person or a person's character because of something we saw out there on what we now call social media.
That's a good point, because I have many impersonators on social media.
And I have seen you put out stuff that you said that this person needs to get on, is not you.
Right.
And I went to the person's page and I was like, holy crap, what are they doing?
If you go and judge somebody by a fake page, then that could lead to problems.
Exactly. So that is just one, and that's a massive one. And of course, that requires a little bit of budget and all that stuff to really create deep fakes. But let's just go on the softer side of things. We see what's going on around us right now with respect to various cases that are currently at play here in Jamaica, where bits of information are being sprouted all over Twitter, and people are making judgments based upon things that they see on these channels. And when you dig down and dig down and dig down, not no gossip, but somebody already tainted somebody's mindset with something that they've put there. So imagine you take that information and make a hiring decision around a person. Look, for the last few hundred years, our hiring practices have been honed around us meeting someone, us taking a look at the resume, asking the right questions, and we have improved our hiring practices considerably, right? Now, is there a moment in time when you take a peep at what else exists to help you with a decision? Maybe, right? But my argument and my suggestion, I mean, I have, for my own company, we have a social media policy for the organization. We give you an idea of what you can do and what you can't do on social media, what tools you can use, what things you can say. High-level guidelines is, we're not sticking a gun to anybody's head. But it's massively important to understand that persons use social media, most persons, for their social, reach out, connect to friends and family. Most people use it holistically. But like any tool, you can have it for good and have it for bad. But as I said, I have my own experiences, because one such advice is around don't post too many pictures drinking. My other business, I'm in the drinking business.
Right,
I'm
you're
in the
wine business.
Right, I'm in the wine business. So I sit down and I say, all right, so suppose somebody judge me from the amount of wine glasses that they see me with and all the bottles in front of me and all that, and not realizing that, okay, I'm a part-time sommelier. I do sommelier work for a living sometimes. If you use that and judge me against what I do...
I think maybe the better point is don't judge somebody or don't post too many pictures showing the consequences of drinking.
Well, luckily as professionals...
That might be better. After you had your wine and broke up, Chris, we don't want to see all of that on social media.
Well, luckily as professional sippers, we have the ability to sip responsibly, and there's no after effects.
All right, so I want to bring Colin back in the conversation here.
Happy to jump back.
He raised some great points about
fabulous points made
judging
by Chris.
people wrongly.
Fully agree with everything Chris said. But Chris didn't take it from the right angle. Now, firstly, deepfakes. Absolutely agree, and I can't argue anything about IT with Christopher. However, a simple workaround, you're not asking anything but what the candidate is putting down. So just ask them. A lot of application forms now would ask you for your social media handles.
But then I can create a page just for the purpose of getting hired.
Absolutely.
So I have my real page where I post my drinking and my partying,
but
and then
remember,
my professional page for you.
We're not looking at the social media to hide anything.
Right.
We're not looking at the social media to discriminate. We're looking at it to say, who is Kalila? Who is Christopher? If he's a part-time, and I hope I'm not butchering the word, Somali.
That's correct.
I want to know that if I'm hiring Christopher. I want to know the entirety of what he brings to the table. Because Christopher's IT skills can actually be enhanced by his other activities, his creativity, his other skill sets that he can bring to the work and put into the business that will ultimately benefit the employer, right? In addition, work is not just about what you're doing on the paper. It's about how you interact with other people in the organization. And if Chris can bring that social aspect to the job, it may actually make everybody be a little better in the office. Not that they're drinking on the job, but that they're picking up additional skills because of what Christopher is putting on the table when he steps into the organization. So as a whole, we all benefit. And I want to know that. Chris may not think that's important, but my social media review of him will say, oh, well, there's more to Christopher than Mr. I.
Collins. So very interestingly, I was with a few business folks yesterday, and because I'd said yes, that I would do this, I actually just ran a question by a number of them. What was interesting was some of these, relatively, powerful movers and shakers in this country looked around and said, hell no, I'm not looking at anybody's social media channel for any of this kind of stuff. We live in Jamaica, right? We are, in the rest of the world, what they call it, 6 degrees of separation. Jamaica is about 2 degrees of separation. One phone call to the right person, we get the full understanding of that person's persona, what they stand for, the causes that they're involved in.
That's what references are for.
That's what references are all about, right? So that gives a more accurate, not something that somebody posts. Why? Our posts are curated. You ever see Kalila post on social media? It is, when you look at these things, now there are some people that they're raw, right? But most people, the angles and everything, it is absolutely set up to look the very best that anything could possibly. So if we make a decision on some of these things sometimes, you may think you're getting all of this influence and this other type of soft skills that you think you're going to come in. But all of this looks so great. It has caught me before. I have seen somebody talking about wine and posting on wine, and I was excited to meet the person, having a discussion. I'm like, this person's a fake. What they're putting there and what they're talking about, they actually got it in a book, cut and paste, dropped it there to make themselves sound good. And I was excited to talk to them, but only to realize that them telling me, I'm not going to call any brands because I don't get anybody in trouble. But the wines that they're talking to me about, that they're excited about drinking, I'm like, backpedal. I'm like, I'm in the wrong discussion. I'm going to throw something else out there. So I've had, and I continue to have, because I'm nowhere near the end, but I've had a very interesting life, because one of the first, night jobs that I started off with, I'm a sound system DJ, right? So partying, oh God, imagine if social media was around then. Luckily there was none. But for me, nightlife was my work, right? And I was a teacher by day, and then just, entry-level computer engineer by day, and then sound system DJ by night. Imagine if social media was around then and I took a picture of all of these things when I was DJing back then. What impression would you have of me if you said that every goddamn night Chris is out partying? I was at work every morning. I might have been a bit groggy in the busy seasons like Christmas.
And the partying was work for you as well.
It was work for me. And I had to make a decision when the partying work started paying me more than the day job.
Right?
I think what is put out there, just remember, it is curated. It is not the person's autobiography of their life and their reasons and seasons. You're getting fake information, which one of the jobs that I do as cybersecurity organization is that we do cybersecurity awareness training, showing you how to make sure that whatever information is coming in, whether it's emails or whatever, you're going to some site that somebody sent you to, you can look and make sure, is this real or is this fake? And we cannot sit down because we have it's difficult to look at an Instagram post or a Twitter post that's coming from this person that we know is Kalila, or we know is Colin, or we know is Brian, or we know is any one of our other friends who we're right sometimes. We try to write.
Colin looks like he's itching to jump in.
At the end of the day,
let me give him a chance.
This is real? Colin, do we know if this is real?
We don't have to know if it's real. What we need to do is put it on the table during the recruitment process. So Chris has put out all of this, and I say DJ, I say somebody, I say IT. I say, wow, Chris is a complex person. Let me talk to him about that. Because once again, at the end of the day, Chris may only be coming for an IT job, right? But he's bringing these other skills.
But let me ask you this, though, Colin.
Sure,
so, should employees have any expectation, reasonably, of privacy, especially if your page?
I'm very happy.
Ask Colin first.
Very happy. Okay, let me shut up because that was my next thing.
Chris is gonna come
because that was my
next
my next piece of paper that I.
Especially if your page is private. If all your social media are private, do you as an employer have an entitlement to still view those pages?
Absolutely not, which is why, once again, you're asking for permission up front if the potential employee
but
chooses
some employers are now asking for your password.
No way.
That is invasive.
Really?
Yes.
No, boss.
I don't know in Jamaica, but I've seen articles abroad where employers are asking for passwords.
I couldn't support that. The recruitment process is mutual sharing. At the end of the day, you want to know about the organization wants to know about you. I think that's a step too far. But there's so much out there. It's unlikely in this day and age that your Facebook, LinkedIn, what do young people use? Instagram,
Twitter,
TikTok, Snapchat. Everything is not going to be private, right? Even if it's just your LinkedIn, there is a basis for further exploration of who this individual is. Is this the right person for my organization? Is this the right fit for everybody else? Can I move the culture where I want it to go with this individual, or is it going to be problem?
So, Colin, all I'm suggesting is that one has to be very careful, and the discussion we're having here is, should we use social media or social media postings to make a decision around hiring or to make a decision around disciplinary action? And all I'm saying is that I say no, we shouldn't, because we can all be manipulated, and we have been manipulated in the past. I have friends and colleagues that have 2 pages, everything. They have 2 Instagram pages, and they have 2 Facebook pages, and they have 2 LinkedIn pages. One is for the business, everything is nice and everything is prim and proper. You look at that exemplary person. And the other one, and there's nothing wrong with the other one, it's just that they happen to be a moonlight guitarist in the night. And that goes under a different brand. The target audience is different. Everything is totally different with the other brand. We have to be careful in using any type of information. I confess, there are some people, I meet them, whatever. I go on Google, just a general Google. I'm not going to Instagram looking for them, going to Twitter, I just do a general Google, what's out there in the media, what's out there, and just on the mainstream first 2 or 3 pages about this person, positive, negative, whatever it is.
So you use social media to research.
No, but
Google, he said.
but not to make a decision around hiring, firing, or anything like that. Just general, what's out there. That's all. Right? You're talking about you're making a decision. But
when you Google Chris, social media will come up.
Sometimes, not all the time. Depends if their pages are private or not.
Right.
So I say I'm not using it to judge, because I know we can be manipulated. Because guess what? Sorry to be jumping back into a cybersecurity type situation. That's how people get manipulated. That's why all of that stuff you covered recently, talking about all this money that went the wrong way, happens because somebody was socially engineered. You have to be careful in doing this, because you can also be socially engineered. That's all I'm saying.
I have no issue with what you're saying there. I'm just pointing out, at the end of the day, checking the potential candidate's social media background. It's just one tool in the box, firstly, and it's not necessarily a negative thing. It can be an entirely positive experience, and that's how I prefer to focus on this particular issue.
Final word,
not
Chris?
Discrimination.
Final word, going back to where I started, the technology out there is getting much more complicated. We can create anything that we want to put out there to give you the impression that you want. Using what's available right now, not even the future, we can manipulate, we can convince, we can do all kind of stuff to persuade and influence thoughts and ideas using the tech, using the various social media channels. Built into the channels, it's there. And I think we have to be very, very careful around making a hiring or disciplinary decision based upon what you see on social media, because that can be manipulated, and it has been in the past. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you so much for those great points made on both sides. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Chris. And let us know in the comments who you think won this debate. What side do you fall upon? Should social media be used to make a hiring decision or to discipline your employees? So who won? Are you Team Colin? Are you Team Chris? Let us know in the comments. That's it for this episode of Your Business Matters, brought to you in partnership with EXIM Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Visit their website at eximbankja.com, and you can find a summary also on my website at KalilaReynolds.com. Let's get this money.